It's a little more notes here. Uh, 12.7.25.2. I was a discussion with my brother the other day that the current regime decided that they were going to stop minting the penny through an executive order. And so we were discussing that, like, what is the power of the executive order? And it definitely does not cover anything to do with money. Right? So he can't create money. He can't stop the creation. He can't stop the minting of money. Um, that's a congressional job, right? And so, but he has, because the GOP right now is his party, and so whatever just he does through his order, and there's like, okay, well, gets what he wants. They're like, wow, whoa. Okay, so twofold here, if you think about it. So you got a dictator that they have, I say installed. They installed him in office, right? I don't believe he was elected in. I think he was just installed there because there's just no way that idiot could possibly have got enough votes to become president again. It's almost like uh, going and buying another ticket for a cruise on the Titanic. Think about it. I'm gonna do a round two, Titanic. Like, what's gonna happen. Um, so they saw all this go down 16 to 20, how his regime uh, leads, and it was a dumpster fire. It was horrible, but they wanted to do it again in 2024, and so we've been at this for not quite a year yet, and he has him and his GOP have dismantled things that have been in place for 50 years or more. It just baffles the mind that the something that has got passed bipartisan. Both parties decide, yep, let's do this, and then in one uh, fell swoop of a pen, an executive order makes it all go away. I did not think that was the power of the executive order. Anytime uh, you contradict the a law per se that has been passed through Congress bipartisanly. That makes sense. Bipartisanly, yeah. Uh, then I believe it needs to go back to Congress if there needs to be an amendment or whatever. But you just can't cancel it. I don't know. I'm just thinking, how do you do this? It's one of those things where it's just really hard to grasp um, that someone could be installed into office with a mindset, well, criminal, because if you think about it, he is a criminal. He's always been a criminal. And so when you have a criminal mindset as the leader of the superpower, the world, if you install a criminal mindset, then that's the that's you will see the results of that coming through executive orders. Because if he goes to Congress, they're going to say no, absolutely not. Well, let's hope so. So that's why he does it through executive order. So he has used the power of the pen, auto pen maybe. Uh, he's figured it out. Uh, you know, he tried in 2016, but he got everybody up there in the White House, Congress, and they're like, nope, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. So this time he just said, you know what? I'm not even calling them up here. I'm just going to do an executive order. until a judge finds it, in contradiction to the Constitution or a law or whatever, it will continue to develop. And so a lot of these executive orders are now in the court system, trying to get them canceled or make them unconstitutional or whatever. But meanwhile, while they were, as soon as he wrote them, they immediately started the process. It's whatever it was, whatever the executive order was. So immediately on January 20th, 2025, he pardoned 1,500 felons. His insurrection gang posse, I don't know, whatever you want to call it, MAGA base, whatever. But if you go and you look to present today and find out how many of the 1,500 have recommitted felonies or are now dead or just back in prison, because that's who they are. But he pardoned them all, saying it was a great day for America. And so think about the ripple effect of that. So when you pardon those type of people, say those type of people, but they were beating Capitol Police. And so when you commit that type of your action, that type of heinous crime, or I don't say heinous, but when you do that type of crime, and you say I did it for the president, well, it still doesn't make it right. And so when you assault Capitol Police, if you mace them and you bear make, whatever, hit them with poles, all that kind of business, then you have to pay. It's called a debt to society. And so everybody watched on TV as they did this, not thinking that they would get pardoned, because they wouldn't, because there was no way that idiot was getting back in office. Well, sure enough, Supreme Court literally paved his way back into office, giving him immunity and giving him all. It just every state that did a pushback saying they didn't want him on their ballot, the Supreme Court says no, you can't do that because it's a federal position, not a state position. And so they tied their hands and said, you will put his name on the ballot. So they forced him. And so that's how basically he got installed. I still think there was some shady stuff through Elon Musk and his tech cronies that he's got. I think they manipulated the system in order to get him installed again, so they could continue their vicious attack on the democracy. And at some point, the people that continue to support him, the people that continue to vote Republican, I'm in awe at why, why do you continue to hold this party line and continue to vote red? Here's what he did. So MAGA, I don't know if I told this on another one or not, but MAGA actually, they jumped on the Republican party, right? They didn't have a party, and so they said they figured they would just jump on the conservative party. Conservative party. So they jumped on the Republican Party. So now they're riding the coattails, using the Republican Party as the figurehead, but ultimately they're the ones making the decisions, not the Republicans. It's MAGA's decisions, not Republican decisions, and that's why it just baffles me that the Republicans that are currently in Congress and in the Senate, unless they're true MAGA, they are just merely going along with the rest of the Republicans in those chambers. So even with that being said, if you continue to go along with MAGA and you're watching MAGA, what they're doing is they're totally deconstructing the system that we have in place. And so if you as a Republican sit and just watch that happen and you don't do anything about it, even though you are the GOP, you can do something about it. You don't in fear. Here's the kicker. Here is in fear. So they're in fear because he's already told them, if you go against me, I will ensure that you do not get reelected. Okay, so that to me sounds like extortion. I believe it is extortion. By definition, it is extortion. Uh, and so it should be a crime, right? Extortion, last time I checked, crime. But not MAGA. They could do that. Apparently, they have immunity to extortion. I don't know. The whole thing's baffling to me that this is where we are at in our society in 2025, getting ready to roll 2026. Um, less than about 3 weeks. So what the people don't know, what they don't realize, and I don't know, maybe they do. I don't think they do, though, what's really going to happen in 2026, because all the GOP, obviously, they all voted yes on the One Big Beautiful Bill. Well, the One Big Beautiful Bill is peppered with defunding, 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 and then tax breaks, tax breaks, tax breaks. Well, who do you think is getting the tax breaks? And who do you think is not getting any money? Well, you should be able to figure that out fairly quickly, is that the middle and lower is now pushed out. So we're getting defunded for whatever programs that we receive from the federal government, and the millionaires and the billionaires, they get the tax breaks, right? Somebody has to pay for it still, right? That's how it works. If you look at the ledger, you've still got X amount of money that's owed, and this amount of money is coming in. So what they do is they just shuffle the money around. So here we are. We'll see. We'll see how it goes, because all the programs that help and assist those who are not able to work, or they just need assistance because they are working but they don't make enough. All that's going away, and so they think that's okay. That's what's confusing to me, is the Republican Party itself. The core, the base of the Republican Party, they should be pushing back, saying, no, this is going to affect, maybe not my family, but this is going to affect my constituents in my state. This is going to affect my grandma. This is going to affect, just children in general. And so when you don't take that hard look and say, hey, who am I serving? Then you have lost touch of reality with the position that you have in Congress or in Senate. So you no longer work for the people. You work for MAGA and Trump, ultimately, because you're living under a threat by extortion. If you don't do it my way, you will not hold office the next time you're up for election. And so if you think about that, that is that's what the system is not supposed to be set up like. Obviously, everything is supposed to be bipartisanship. Everything is supposed to be equal. We are, as a pretty intelligent society, so I thought, that here we are, where we're getting pushed, really literally pushed aside, as they continue their power grab, money move, and all that business, to gain I don't even know what I'm not even sure what their end state is here. What's their, what's the idea of what they ultimately want? Do they want, is it all about the money? Because, I mean, if you think about it, people are already suffering. He said he was going to bring food prices down. He's going to bring rent down. He's going to bring gas prices down. He hasn't done none of that. None of that. Matter of fact, he's added about $2 trillion to the deficit in 1 year, and actually less than 1 year. So I don't believe that anything that he said during the campaign trail he has done. It was all show. It was all smoke and mirrors. They knew about Project 2025. They had it. They had the dossier. It's over 800 pages of just sheer uh, uh, terror upon our democracy, literally. But yet they voted. They voted. That's our guy. That's our guy. No, no, this is really not your guy. But somehow it convinced them that I'm your guy. All right, I gotta go for now. Peace.